Welcome to a little free training on motivation. So a lot of the time we hear, and a lot of people struggle with motivation, and I think it's often because we rely heavily on it, but we often don't understand how motivation exactly works and how actually the motivation is very different for a lot of different people. Now, there's two types of motivation, and that's intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation is something that comes within, okay? And you'll find as an individual, you have preferred types of motivation that give you that get-go. Intrinsic is that things like having your own self-belief, your own thoughts, and those beliefs actually motivate you, so you do it for yourself. You motivate yourself to do something. You want to do it. You tell yourself, Ryan, you can do this. You can truly achieve this. And you intrinsically just tell yourself from the inside that I can do that, and you motivate yourself that way. There's others, again, I'm massively this as well, extrinsic motivation. I'm hugely extrinsically motivated. I need someone to tell me, Ryan, you've done a good job. The problem is when we're like that, we're often relying on sources from the outside to tell us that we've done a good job and to tell us to keep going and push ourselves, okay? But that isn't always there. Motivation isn't always there as a whole. We're not always going to be able to tell ourselves to, come on, Ryan, keep going. Like, occasionally there's going to be times when you don't believe it. There's going to be those limiting beliefs, but they're often what's holding you back. Those extrinsic motivational factors are stuff like the materialistic things. So whether you're pushing, maybe it's in business because you have a materialistic goal of a house or a car, or you have stuff like, I don't know, because that image, that dress, those things that drive you towards your goals extrinsically, but then they're internal things. Those things about, working towards, that final weight loss goal because you want to do it for yourself because you'll feel better. You won't be so self-conscious. You'll be happy and everything like that. But motivation comes and goes. I said, there's days when you're going to want to do it and there's days when you're not going to do it. The thing is that often you've just got to get it done. Like, motivation isn't something that often hangs around all the time. And sometimes it actually comes from the doing. Like, you'll find that you don't have motivation to go to the gym, but when you're at the gym and you start working out, suddenly the motivation's there. Or it might even be when you finish it. Like when you finish something, when maybe you're preparing food and you're like, I can't be bothered to meal prep, I haven't got the motivation to do this. But once you've prepped that and you've got your lunches ready for the next 3 days and you're going to be able to hit your targets easier and you're going to be able to move yourself towards that goal, then hell yeah, that's going to seem a whole lot better and you're going to be motivated. You're going to be jacked up by that because you've done something that's going to get you closer towards your goals. So motivation isn't always there, and sometimes it is a fact of just getting it done. Now, habits are key to motivation. They really do help it. Therefore, we then need less internal or external, motivation, because habits are autonomous. If we can make something habitual, we then rely on less motivation. If we're naturally doing things, for example, weight loss, if we're naturally doing habits that are helping us towards our goal, we're naturally, habitually putting more vegetables on our plate. We're habitually choosing a higher protein source for our meal. We're habitually making a better choice when it comes to eating out and socializing. We're saving calories. These things are just autonomous things that we're doing. We're habitually drinking more water, getting sleep. We're going to bed earlier. Okay, it's things that we aren't taking a lot of our actual internal energy, but that are helping our motivation because we haven't got to be like, oh, come on, Ryan, you can do this. You can go to bed at 8:30. You're just doing it. Like, it gets 8:30. You're like, cool, I'm going to bed. It's a habit now. It's a habit that you go to bed. It's a habit that you don't go on your phone when you're in the bedroom. Rather than trying to be like, oh, Ryan, get off your phone. You actually just do it automatically. And that way you don't need then the motivation. And that's why having habits and things like that are huge in the long-term success of weight loss. Because if you can get things done habitually, and they become autonomous, you don't have to put energy into it. Your energy can be better spent elsewhere, and you then don't always need the willpower and the motivation, to get something done, because it's just getting done on its own terms. And you're automatically then just getting results. Like, who doesn't want to automatically get results? We all want to. It takes a lot of work to get results, but if we can make it half autonomous and we can make the habits in place and make sure that we stay habitually motivated because we just do things naturally. Our motivation is like, oh yeah, I'm getting results, and it's not I'm not having to put in as much effort as I was at the beginning. You've got to use certain things though within your life, to motivate you. Now, motivation comes and goes, as I said, right? But what I always say to myself, and I say to other people as well, use the fear of not getting where you want to go to drive you. Like those things that motivate you to get there. Because I don't know, maybe you've started noticing health benefits of, being overweight is causing health benefits, relationships. You're worried about not being able to be there long term for your family, see your grandkids grow up. put that fear inside you so much that that is your motivation. Every time you think, oh, I'm not going to do it again, look back and be like, okay, right, what happens if I don't do this? If I do not make this change and I do not do this thing, where am I going to be 12 months down the line? Like, and that alone should scare the shit out of you. Like, excuse my French, but if you can just do something because you know that actually the fear of not doing it is just motivating enough. Like the fear of not getting towards my goals, not being actually happy. Like, you only live once, and I'm huge about this. Like being alive and being born, you've got a 1 in 4 trillion chance. Like, it wasn't luck that you were here, and it was 1 in 4 trillion chance. Like, believe that you were here for a purpose. Believe that you have a purpose, and to live a life and experience all these great things is all part of it. Yeah, so like, use the fear of not getting where you want and not being able to do the things that you want to do because of your current situation. Use that as a driving factor. Don't use it and think, oh my God, I'm going to be, I'm just going to be in a really bad place. Like, use it to give yourself that drive and that motivation to get to where you want to go, No, because I don't want to, like, getting to that place scares the hell out of me because I don't want to be having health problems. I don't want to not see my grandkids grow up. I want to be able to go out and wear the clothes. Like, you only live once. Like, how is it that you can't wear the clothes that you want to wear? Like, that's absolutely bonkers. And it's all within the thing. And I'm not saying, oh, just wear the clothes anyway. And some people are like, well, I can wear the clothes. But if you're not comfortable wearing it, then you need to do something about it so you can literally live your life exactly how you want it. You were put on this earth. You are a thinking, conscious human being. Okay, and you have absolutely every power. And I also say it like that. You are so lucky in this moment to be able to actually benefit your own health and be in control of like how you can improve your health and improve your situation in the world. Why would you not want to grasp that and take it? Because there's some people that don't. There's some people that don't have a choice about how healthy they are. There's some people that can't choose the food they eat. They can't choose where they drink their water from. There's people in the world that don't have that privilege. You are privileged enough to be able to take control of your health, your goals, your fitness endeavors. You only get one body and you can't change it. Like, you need to look after it. And there's a great saying, like, a lot of the things you've done, you keep failing and stuff like that. And there's a reason behind it. Some people are like, oh, I'm just not lacking the motivation. But the problem is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing in the same way and expecting different results. And that's exactly what you've done up until this point. You say you lack motivation and that's why I always need these quick fixes because my motivation doesn't stay. Well, it's because you're just relying on just sole internal motivation for these materialistic things, but you've got these limited beliefs. So you've got these limited beliefs of like everything that you've done beforehand hasn't worked, so why should now be any different? And until you clear your mind of that, that's always going to hinder your motivation. You're not going to be motivated to do something if you think there's a chance you could fail. Okay, until you take ownership and be like, no one except me can do this work, you'll never get to where you want to go. And you've done these fad diets and everything up until this point, and you've got the same results, which is why you're now doing something different, and you want to do something different because you want to see different results. Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you are never going to get to where you go. Okay? You've just got to clear your mind of all the baggage and luggage that's weighing you down and these limiting beliefs, because they are hindering alone your motivation. You're lacking motivation because you don't actually truly believe that you can do it. And it's those thoughts inside your head that are stopping you from achieving what it is you want to achieve. And that's why you always say, oh, it's just motivation. And that's why, you vote and say, oh, one of my biggest struggles is motivation. And actually, yeah, but it's the only reason you're struggling for motivation is because you don't truly believe that you can achieve what it is that you want to achieve. That's what's holding you back. You can be motivated by so many different things. You've got to find what works for you. Maybe it is because you want to wear that dress. Maybe it is because you want to see your grandkids grow up. Maybe it is because, I don't know, maybe you've wanted to go do something that your actual weight restrictions not able to do. Maybe it's because you need to have an operation. I've heard that many times before, that now they want to do something because they need to have an operation. It's a health reason. Okay, everyone has their own reasons of why they're motivated and want to do these things, but motivation does come and go. Okay, so you've got to set things in place to motivate you, but the fear alone of not being out, of not changing and staying in that same place, that should be a huge motivational factor. And you've got to realize that you've just sometimes got to take ownership over this, and that motivation isn't always going to be there. You're gonna sometimes have to just get on with it for the sake of getting on with it, because actually the fear of not doing that is huge. And it's massive, and it's going to be hugely life-changing if you do get that stuff done. And you can't grow, and I've written that here, you cannot grow unless you start to believe that you can become that new person that you want to be. Wearing the clothes, making the good nutritional choices, exercising regularly, understanding how to deal with meals out. Until you start thinking, acting, and believing like that person you want to be. So start thinking about that person that you want to be. That person that's, able to deal with meals out. That person that's able to wear the clothes. Like, think about how that person would act. What would they do? Who would they hang around with? What would they buy when they go shopping? What would they do when they were in the kitchen about to cook up a meal? Think about all the things that you currently do. Write it down. What are some of the habits that you currently do that aren't in line with the person that you want to become? And this can't want to become. You want to outline exactly what it is. And they're like two profiles. Like, this is you now. And then write down a list of all the things that you want to be. What does future you look like? If you were to jump forward, to 12 months from now, what would it look like to you? What would you look like if you were standing watching you? How would you walk? How would you dress? How would you shop? What things would you be buying? What would you be doing that would allow you to be that person? Is it because you get a better relationship with food? You're going to shops and you go straight to the veg bar and you buy all the healthy food and you concentrate on protein. What habits and things would you do differently as that future person? And once you believe and you understand, right, this is what I need to do to become that person, and this is the old me, you need to start swapping those habits. Like, fully believe that you could get there. That is motivation as well. Like, fully believe that you could get there. Start acting like that person that's lost 2 stone, that's happy, that can fit into that dress, that doesn't sit down and have that tummy roll. Like, these things that I've heard from that women have told me, if you start to believe and act in the way that that new person, that future person would, you're going to become a whole person. Like, if you believe that you are a celebrity and a multi-millionaire with loads of money and you have loads of fans, and you start acting like that, I guarantee things would attract you. You'd be more confident, you'd be more outgoing, you'd be a little bit egotistical, admittedly, but you hold your head right and you'd have so much more confidence because you'd just be acting like that person. And eventually, although at first it'd be a little bit like conscious effort to start doing the habits and things that person wants to do and become, eventually you'll be autonomous. You will naturally just go to the veg section, pick out your meats, and know that you want to get fruit in your diet. You'll naturally always fill up your bottle of water. You'll go to the gym. You'll prioritize those things that you want to prioritize that the current you doesn't do. You'll prioritize the new things that the new person that you want to become does. But also, education just makes this whole process so much easier. Educate yourself to understand why and how to deal with situations you face in adversity. So if you can understand, right, these are the things that I currently face, being me right now, and these are the things that hold us, your limiting beliefs, your limiting habits, these things that are holding you back and stopping you from getting to this thing. Because yes, motivation comes to it, but also the motivation part of it can actually be governed. There's a lot of times where you won't, and we want to try and make sure that we're educated so that then we can change our habits and make sure that we become this new person and actually get to exactly where we want to go and know how to deal with those situations. And that alone should be huge for you. Like, motivation comes and goes. As I said in the beginning, we can be intrinsically motivated and we can tell ourselves, come on, you can do this, Ryan, you've got this, you want to achieve this thing, you're going to have to put the work in. But sometimes your head's not going to tell you that. We always struggle sometimes to be positive the whole time. Okay, so what extrinsic things can motivate me? Maybe it's a dress that I want to wear, that I want to hang up, and that's what I want to get into. Okay, maybe it's, because I've got health problems I want to eradicate, like I'm on the verge of getting diabetes and I need to do something about it. Or maybe you haven't, a lot of people I've heard, maybe you don't have mirrors in your house because you don't like the look of yourself, you don't want to see it. Set these things as motivation and set that fear inside you of like, okay, cool, well, I'm not really motivated, I don't want to do it. Stop and think, okay, cool, so you haven't actually got direct motivation right now. Take time to sit and stop and think, okay, so I haven't got motivation, but if I don't do what I've set out to do, what's that going to look like in 12 months from now? Where's that going to leave me? That alone should be enough motivation to get you off the sofa, go in the kitchen and meal prep. That should be the motivation to fill up your water bottle and make sure you get 2 litres of water a day. It's these little things that, yes, they do initially take a little bit of energy, but after a while they become autonomous. Okay, so that's a little thing from me, a little bit about motivation and about trying to get your mindset. Okay, I suppose as well, I always end up going on to mindset in the rate. But just think, like, if you don't start acting and behaving in the way that future you wants to be, and the way that you think that future you would act, behave, talk, what they would do in certain social situations, how they would shop, how they would cook, what they would do for exercise, then you're never going to get there because you're going to be stuck with those limiting beliefs of exactly where you are now. You need to transition from the person you are now to this new person. Okay, and that governs everything in your life. Like what you are and where you are now, you want to move forward and to be this new person, you need to start acting, behaving, taking on habits and being that new person that you want to become. So eventually it becomes autonomous, and over time you will literally become that person that you want to become. I hope that made sense. I hope that was an interesting little video for you. And any feedback would be awesome. Take care, look after yourselves, and I'll speak to you all very soon.